Welcome to Serving Your Market as Kings or Queens. If you are looking for an interesting commercial, marketing, and sales podcast that is bold, unfiltered, unconventional, and authentic, you are at the right place. Curious how to play the game better and smarter? We will share how we crack the code to hyper growth for our customers. We will invite amazing people. We will share our experience, the first attempts in learning, cracking the code, and finally the results. And last but not least, we will give you food for thought. Now, let's get started.
Hello everybody and welcome to the podcast of Serving Your Market Like a King or Queen. And today we have a very special guest. We welcome Ellen. We've for a long time worked together. We worked in the same business, Liesbeth and myself in corporate marketing, and Ellen from field marketing in Norway. And welcome and thanks a lot for being our amazing guest, Ellen. So could you tell a little bit more about yourself?
Thank you so much for having me. It's a real pleasure. So a little bit about myself. I have been working in marketing as long as I can remember, more or less, and also very happy to work previously with both of you. Today I work in an international company. Been there for more or less 3 years. So I'm the channel marketing lead there, working towards all markets internationally as well. It's a company called Zenitel, and we provide audio within the safety and security industry. So it's a new venture, but it's a tech company, and it's really, really interesting. So that's more or less me. And yes, I'm from Norway. So we've been working internationally for a long time.
Awesome, Ellen. So thanks a lot for joining. And our first Norwegian guest. So super. So let's kick it off, right? So, and this is all about the promise of this podcast, right? So Ellen explained a little bit of where she's coming from, how we know each other. But we are going to look ahead also now and delve a little bit more into growth. So the podcast, we will talk all about Ellen's ambition on how to capture growth potential between headquarters and field and sales marketing. So I'm very, very much looking forward to the episode. And before obviously we delve into the conversation, we always start with a little bit of a tradition, and that's having a drink. So Ellen, what are you having today?
So I'm actually having strawberry and lime cider in this class. And funny story is that I have an ambition, a hobby brewer of a husband. So he brews both beer and cider and also rosé wine. So I was happy to take from that storage today, and it's really, really good and fresh.
Nice, good to hear that. So I would say when travel is open, then the next time we will record it at your home.
Yeah.
I was having the same mind.
I know you was thinking that as well, Liesbeth. I knew it.
Yes,
What are you having, Liesbeth?
Well, mine is not that fancy, I must say. It's a South African rosé, and it's very dry and crispy. So, cheers. And you, Jeroen?
So let me check what I have this time. It's called, it's a session IPA. From the Netherlands. It's called Peace of Mind. And it's from the town called Breda. So it's a really session-based IPA, so a little bit more summer. So I hope that it's coming up. And let's enjoy it. So cheers, and looking forward to the chat.
Yes, to
cheers.
The podcast.
Yeah.
So Ellen, I have a question for you. We had an earlier conversation, and you told me that you want to grow, well, as a person, but also in your current role. So my question actually is, what is the reason for that? Where is it coming from, and what steps are you taking?
Well, thank you, Liesbeth. Well, I think my ambition has always been to grow, no matter what I've been doing, and I think I always try to find, new ways of looking at things, learning. I think learning every day is something that's really, really close to my heart. And my ambition to grow in this role as well within marketing is that I have, over the past few years, learned a lot and then also seen a lot. So you connect the dots more or less in a different way after the experience that you gathered during the years. And I think that my ambition is to keep growing and to keep positively influencing others within marketing field and other areas of a business as well. So I think that is my drive, more or less. So I'm never going to stop trying to grow ever.
What did you? Well, you said connecting the dots. What would you consider as the most important skill to be able to connect those dots?
I think connecting the dots has several aspects of it, and from my point of view, I think that I am an outgoing person. I love to connect with other people, and very often in any company I've been in, I've connected with several parts of the organization and learning if it's the IT department, if it's the sales department or a product department, you connect the dots as you go along. And I think seeing the bigger picture within marketing and trying to influence that back into the organization is something that really inspires me. So that's what I meant about connecting the dots, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's extremely, and it's not very often, marketing is, people think it's just about doing this or doing that. They have their opinions, but it's so much more. And marketing is more or less capturing what the business is all about. And I think that's what I meant.
Awesome. Yeah. I think it's really interesting. You connect all these things together, right? And I think it's the role of marketing, right? And it being an execution arm towards indeed being the center indeed of the business and the market, right? And connecting these things all together. So I think that's it's very interesting that you mentioned that. And you're having a central marketing role, right? And so and it's important, as you said, right? It's to build those connections in the business. So I can imagine also that it's extremely relevant to start building also those connections in the field, right? Because that's where it essentially happens, right? So how do you build the relationships and plan actually with field marketing from your role? And what is your ambition to work actually more towards even an integrated planning?
Yeah, I think what I think is that working both from a strategic point of view and an operational, because that's actually what I do, working centrally, moving everything that we do from a business strategic level, implementing it centrally, and then converting it out into the field, I think is the most important thing a company can do. And I'm lucky because I have two wonderful field marketing resources within the company of Zenitel. And one is situated in the Americas, one is situated in France. We all speak the same language, but at the same time, I think it's important to influence the field because they're closest to the market. They're closest to their own teams. So being that more or less translator of the localization of it, discussing, finding out ideas, not just telling them, but actually interacting with them on what's the best fit for the messaging as well. I think that's really important it's
nice. I think it's almost like a two-way street, right? It's not the one telling the other, right? But it's exchanging intelligence. It's trying out new things, right? And providing that feedback and so on. And that continuous circle of collaboration, right? And providing input from the field back to the central organization. So, and the other way around.
Yeah. Actually, it's a kind of feedback loop, a constant feedback loop. How it's working? What you're saying, from central to field, from field to
that's something which I imagine then.
Yeah, definitely, and it's very, very important because I think sometimes you're stuck in. And I work in a relatively small team. But at the same time, I think that we are, no bigger than the person next to us. And I think working with the field marketing, giving that feedback back into the central team central messaging and these things helps you evolve in the way that the company also connects to the strategy. So yeah, definitely. It's like a two-way, as you said, Joe.
Does it work the same with sales? How is your experience with the collaboration between sales and marketing? And also in this, cross-departmental, but also cross-country?
Well, it's a good question, actually. And I think I've experienced both. Right now, we work closely together with sales, and especially having that bridge of the field marketing. I think that's the most important factor of it all, working closely together with sales. I'm also more or less close to sales, but I think the closest one are the ones in the field. And that's why it's even more important to get that message through. So, but I think from experience previously, sales and marketing really need to connect. They need to go hand in hand. That is that's my driving force as well, because I see so much good potential there moving forward when, you really go hand in hand, sales plans, marketing plans, everything, really.
Yes, exactly. We really recognize that's a lot of countries still have a siloed approach. Sounds negative, but it's human. I would almost say that you're driving or taking part of your own department. Your ambitions in that ambitious in that way, but at the same time actually connecting or sharing the same goals, connecting the activities to it, how you actually drive success together. That's another thing where a lot of companies are kind of struggling with, or at least, don't know exactly how to make that change or how to drive that transformation.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And I think, getting everybody involved in the same ideas and feeling that they can influence the messaging from a sales point of view, seeing that we are actually listening to them and the other way around. I think that's the recipe for success, in my opinion. Definitely.
Nice, that's interesting. And what's your viewpoint on bringing in, let's say, if you look at it from a full commercial go-to-market planning perspective, right? It's mostly sales and marketing, right? Which should collaborate and work together to drive success. What is the necessity of also connecting product into this in your view, and how could companies start to align actually the triangle of those? So sales, marketing, and product.
Yeah, and I'm glad you bring that up, because I think recently we've done some restructuring and connecting really closely to the product department in Zenitel as well. And I think we see so many benefits of it, connecting really closely to the ones closest to the product, to the ones closest to how to sell it, where to sell it, and connecting all of these, especially these three aspects in a go-to-market planning is so valuable. And I've gotten so much positive feedback, especially from the product team who really didn't know much about messaging, or, they talk about value propositions, but those are very often very technical. So when we convert those messaging into something that actually the market listens to, they're like, wow. And they start thinking in another way. So you influence all aspects of the departments. So the cross departments working is amazing. And that's something that I think more companies really need to start thinking about, really.
Nice. I think that's a great example indeed, right? It's bringing all those things together, right? Otherwise, it would be because I think what you sketched, right? What could potentially start to originate is a product department is doing all the efforts and best, right? But they start developing stuff in a basement, right? And without actually listening to the market, right? And or the marketing team is just what is it? Throwing out activities into the market with a messaging that is actually totally not aligned to how buyers talk, right? That's where the sales team comes into play. And I think bringing all these groups together, right, on the one cohesive approach or framework, I think that's where really the magic can occur. So I'm happy to hear that you have these kind of experiences, and awesome.
Yeah.
How do you make sure that partners are also part of this story?
So I try to have this mindset of, how does the partners perceive. Luckily, I've been working within, partner marketing for a while back as well. Actually on both sides as a partner in previous jobs. And so you bring things with you how you would like it to be. So I brought things in to the equation there. And then most of the time now, especially our field marketing is our closest to the partner. But having the mindset that I have now makes me support them in a better way from the channel marketing point of view as well, so that it's something that perhaps could be new to them is something that I've experienced, so that we can learn from each other as well. So definitely.
Yeah, nice. And I've had also worked right on the on the partner side of things, so to say, and the experience that we've had in that a couple of years ago or so was also that as a partner you also have the opportunity, right, to start to test out things, right, in the market, for example, to drive certain pilots or proof of values, right, which then the vendor in this case could potentially, in a kind of a risk-free environment start to test out, and then if it's successful, can adopt that type of approach and leveraging pilots with partners in specific markets. What is your experience with that, and or if first of all, what is your view on that?
Oh, I think it's extremely important, because I think if you don't have your partners with you, you're missing an arm or leg in any kind of business. And I think holding their hands, having them part of the process, it's like I mentioned with the internal communication. You should treat your partners like your own, so treat them like they're part of the company. Because I think, involving them in these kinds of processes, going back to when we did the product launch, our partners was involved a long time before we even did,
exactly,
the relaunch. And because products and messaging, they don't go anywhere unless you have people to speak for you. So I think that if you work with partners, close partners who actually, they are your arm or your voice out into the market, so you need to treat them like your own. I think that's extremely important.
How much information do you get? Information, when we talked about a feedback loop. Is there also information coming from the partners, back from partners, field, and then back to central? To be smarter, or to maybe to improve your value proposition? Is that something what is part of the process as well?
I think there are improvements point there, but we do have. I think any company should consider a partner advisory board. I think those kinds of settings are extremely important in any case, and I think that is where the feedback is structured in a positive way. It goes to the right people, the right stakeholders. You have management there. You have, a representative from each of the, parts of the organization who really need to hear this feedback. And I think having the transparency between a partner and a company is extremely important, because then you get the true value of the feedback as well, because nobody's going to sit and not dare to say anything either way. But if you have, if you do have the transparency between the partners and your company, I think that is extremely valuable. And for the company that I now work in, I see that we have, year by year, we've improved those processes because we have learned along the way. So keep your partners close. It's extremely valuable to any company.
Yeah, I really like that example of the partner advisory board. Of course, I'm familiar with the customer advisory board, but this one, that's a good learning for me. So nice to hear that. So actually, it delves a little bit more on the topic also, because you said, right, the value you can get out of it, right? I think most of our audience is probably aware now of ideal customer profile, right? And if you have selected your ideal customers in the right way, right, you can increase your customer lifetime value. What is your view on an ideal partner profile and potentially? I'm just thinking out loud now, right? A metric around partner lifetime value, right?
Good. It's a tricky question, but an ideal partner profile for me, looking at the kind of partners that I've interacted with over the last few years, I think is somebody who is really believing in your product and your messaging, and I think, and also believing that their voice can be heard. They are striving to educate themselves if there's a technical issue, and they always search to learn more, and they know how to reach out to. So I think that, and also in Zenitel, we have different kinds of partner programs. So there's different types of partners as well. So, but if I should, take all of them and put them together in a bag, I guess, it's what can you do for me and what can we do for you? That kind of attitude, I think, is if you have that with a partner, then you're a winner no matter what.
Again, the two-way street, right? Probably.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think, having a partner, and we have, as I mentioned, different types of partner, and some more loyal than others. There are always going to be those, but if you believe in your product or your company's values and you have a partner who does the same, you come a long way, really.
But that's, I think, where the magic happens, because that's when we talk about ideal partner profile.
Yeah,
that's where you really have the same belief and go after it, and are are willing to also that value exchange. Not only we're selling your products or services, but as well as giving back what you hear the market or what you need from that company to make sure that you can drive success together.
Yeah, I think that's a nice one that you said, Liesbeth, the value exchange. I'm currently following the CRO school from Revenue Collective. So I think last week there was someone presenting things around building ecosystems and partnerships, and he used the phrase in that sometimes companies still use their partners as like an ATM machine, right? They just knock on their door on, can you bring me more revenue, right? And that's obviously everything we don't want, right? If I hear your story, Ellen.
Yeah, it's true.
Is that something you, from that ideal partner profile, something you would like to explore further? And I'm not saying goodbye to others or that's other, but when there's really kind of match made in heaven, to drive success together in a kind of special program, and maybe it's not up to you, but more, I wonder how you see that through your eyes.
Yeah, I think, developing and looking into the perfect partner profile as such, I think is always important, because you can think that you have a grasp of it, but you actually need to always nurture it and develop it. So I think that what I would like to see more of is maybe even more interaction going back, asking them more questions, giving the room. So we have the partner advisory boards, but even, having the closer connection to this. And I think we are striving to do that at the moment in my company. And I think even more people can do so, because sometimes the relationship can be, a little bit, you need to maybe take the dust off it sometimes. So it's,
exactly,
keeping that, because it's in a busy schedule. And especially, I think during these digital times, it could be easily forgotten sometimes. And I think it's just important to keep it on top of mind all the time. It's really, really important.
Finding your joint spark again, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's absolutely relevant, finding the joint spark. So, yeah.
Cool.
Good.
Yeah, I think that's. I think we can't end any better than that, right? finding your joint spark. So no, I think it was a super cool conversation, Ellen, and thanks a lot. I still find it very unfortunate that we are not in Norway, next to or inside the brewery, right? The home brew. But we will keep that for next time.
Looks like this.
I also put it in on the screen, and it really looks nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'll make sure
today
to
we
one next time.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks a lot. I think we learned a lot today. I think it was great to talk about your ambition, right, and to capture the growth potential between HQ, field, sales, marketing, and I think also the partners landscape came into play. And I think it's I really admire how you bring this all together. So I think this has been very inspirational for a lot of the audience of us, right? It's the first time we bring someone in from the channel, and this brings another dimension, I would say, almost to the whole dialogue. So thanks a lot for that, Ellen, and being our amazing guest. So probably people wanna reach out after this chat to you. So how can they best get in contact with you? Reaching out via LinkedIn or email, or what would you prefer?
Yeah, they can reach out either through LinkedIn or I can provide my email as well. Happy to answer any questions that may come. So happy to do so. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Thanks a lot, Ellen. And we all see you next time.
And always follow your spark, Ellen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
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 Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Serving Your Market as Kings or Queens. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to rate, subscribe, and review wherever you listen to your podcasts. We really appreciate that effort, and we'll catch you in the next episode.